Hey everybody, today we're going to be using money to skip count. We're going to be using units of $1, $10, and $100. Right away, you can see that we're using something similar to what we did in the past. Before, we learned how to skip count using ones, tens, and hundreds. Today, we're going to do the same thing, we're just putting a money symbol in front of them. That's what this symbol means. This refers to dollars. So, in order to count up to certain amounts with dollars, we need to remember a couple things for today's lesson. The first thing we need to remember is how to number bond 3-digit numbers. We also need to remember our counting up strategies, our 3-step count up strategies. Let's go on to the next page and check out some examples. So I have here a 2-digit number, the $32, and I have a 3-digit number, $321. Now we're going to go through our $32 one first before we work up with any larger examples. Now let's just pretend that the $32 is just this 32 here. If we wanted to split it up amongst its place values, we would be splitting it into its ones and its tens. So let's see. $32 split two ways, we're number bonding it two ways, gives us, well, there's $2 in the ones place, and that leaves us with a 3 in the tens place. 3 in the tens place gives us $30. Let's double check if we got this right. 30 plus 2 equals 32. So we know that we've broken our number bond up correctly. Now, how would I show 32? Well, if I wanted to show 32, what I would do is I would do boxes. We're not going to use a number line, and we're not going to use base 10 symbols for this practice. What we're using is these empty squares. So inside of each of these squares, I'm going to write either a 1 or a 10. So, for example, here's one $1 bill and one $10 bill. I'm making them green so that they're kind of close to what real money would look like. Okay, so let's see. How many ones and how many $1 bills and how many $10 bills do I need to show $32? Well, it's really easy, isn't it? We can split it into its place value like we do with normal numbers. And we've even done it here. We have two $1 bills. So let me make a second $1 bill. There we go. And let's see, we need 3 $10 bills to show $30. So let me just quick copy 2 of those. And there we go. Here we have 3 tens and 2 ones, which in total gives us $32. Easy, right? Okay, let's go ahead and go back to that other one. Let's make a new page. And the other value we had to work with was $321. Now, similarly to what we did with the other one, we're going to start off by breaking it into its place values. Remember that the ones place is on the right, and we always start on the right with the smallest one. Then we work our way to the left and make it bigger. So after the ones place, we have the tens place, where 2 is. After the tens place, we have the hundreds place, where the 3 is. Okay, so now we can continue working on this one like we did with the other one. So I'm going to first off write $321 again, and this time we're going to split it into 3 parts. Now, working off of the ones place first, like we did on the other slide, we see we have $1 in the ones place. Now if we go to the tens place, we see we have 2 $10 bills, which is $20. And lastly, if we go to the hundreds place, we have 3 bills in the hundreds place. So 3 $100 bills, or 300. Now, expanded form once again, to double check, 300 plus 20 plus 1 does give us 321, so we know we got it right. But how do we show this? Well, once again, we need to use rectangles. This time, since we have ones, tens, and hundreds, we're going to use all 3. So let's see. I have $1 bills showing already, so I'm good with that. I need 2 $10 bills. So I need to draw one more $10 bill. Now I have $20 showing in the 10 spot. And the 100 spot, I need to have 3 $100 bills to show 300. So let me add that. 1, 2. Okay, it's the same thing as we were doing, except instead of using base 10 symbols, we're drawing rectangles to represent dollar bills, and we are counting up with them. Now, where does that come into play? Well, let's look here. If I start with $122 and I want to finish with 200, how much money do I need? Well, let's see. Let's start by drawing and boxing 122. Okay, so here we have 122. Now, if I add 8 ones, because remember, we always start off with our first step, step 1. Count up by ones to complete the 10. So I'm going to complete the 10 by adding 8 ones, because we know that 8 plus 2 is 10. So we add 8 ones, and we end up at the next 10, which is 130. And now I can count by 10s to the next 100. The next 100 we need is 200, so once I get there, I can stop. So this would be 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, $200, which is what I need. So similar to how we did in the past, counting up strategies work the same way. We show how much we add over time. We show how much we add over time to get to our next number. Okay. And this trend continues if we try to go up to bigger numbers too. So if I go from that, let's say 212, and I want to go to $212 and I want to have $500, how much do I need to make? Well, let's start by showing $200. Okay, so it's boxed. There's 212. If I want to get to 500, I need to start with step 1, which is count up by ones to the next 10. Okay. 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220. Okay. So as you can see, I have to add 8 ones, and each one gets me one closer to that 10. And now that we've completed step 1, which is counting up by ones to the next 10, I can go ahead and I can go to step 2, which is count up by tens to the next 100. The next 100 after 200 is 300. So let's count up by tens to 300. 230, 240, 250, 260, 'Except they look more like a 5. There we go. 270, 280, 290, 300. Okay, and that's step 2. Count up by tens to the next 100. Same step we've been doing this entire time. Then, of course, lastly, step 3, where we count up by hundreds to the needed 100. Well, where we need to get is 500. You can see that here. We want to end up at $500. So, to get to $500, we have to add hundreds. So if I add 100, that gives me $400. And lastly, one last 100 gets me to $500. Same counting up strategy, same thing we normally do. It just is a matter of, are we going to be showing the components by number bonding, or are we going to be counting up like we did with our base 10 numbers? So with that, take a crack at today's classwork, and if something doesn't make sense, make sure you tune into our meet so that we can work on it together.